Wizards of the Coast decided to roleplay Claw Thread Dragon Tyrant for a hot second, and as a result, players are jumping ship from D&D onto Pathfinder faster than a bard jumps onto a dragon's. Welcome to a crap guide to Pathfinder. Pathfinder really isn't that complex. It's mostly the same rules as 5th edition, but it also... oh no. First thing to know about Pathfinder, it has all your classic races and classes. Wizard, Bard, Fighter, Ranger, all there. We got multiclassing too, but who needs multiclasses when you can just play a whole new class that blends them together? Want to be a fighter that casts combat spells, or a wizard wearing heavy armor? Play a magus. Want all the tricks and skills of a rogue and preparedness and sleuthing of rangers? Play an investigator. Want to sing a song like a bard while you cave heads like a barbarian? Channel the might of your ancestors? Or just be an irresistible himbo? Play a skald. There's a whole Venn diagram of classes. That's not even covering the way more unique classes and prestige classes. You can be Batman, the Imperium of Man, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Halo, or a furry. What's that? What's a prestige class? The only reason you ever multi-class is what? Classes that require having levels in other classes that make you an absolute unit in one specific facet of that class. We got so many classes I can't even cover them all. And races? Oh, don't get me started on races. We got everything in 5e, plus Kitsune, Gnoll, Naga, Ogre, Deep One, Dwergar, Gargoyles, Androids, Vanara, Wyvern, Samsarens, Vineleshy, Moonavri, Weiyangs? What the heck are... Next thing you gotta know about Pathfinder is Feats. Yeah, we got Feats. No, they ain't those pitiful things in 5e. Look at this, look at this. Virgin 5e Feat. Replaces ability score increase, limited options, barely impacts your gameplay. Chad Pathfinder Feat. Start with one, comes with ability score increases. So many options it will take hours to read them all. Will define your gameplay. Next we have traits. These cute little guys are kind of like Feats, but much smaller. You pick two when you make your character. They're basically like your background in 5e. Next up we have skills. There are a lot of the same skills from 5e to Pathfinder, except Pathfinder has more. Are you seeing the pattern yet? But instead of just picking a couple to be extra good at and never touching them again, in Pathfinder, every time you level up, you get a certain number of skill points that you can put into any of the skills you want. If you want to be a barbarian who has more knowledge about the cosmic workings of the universe than the party wizard even though your intelligence is 6, you can do that! The skills are modified by ability scores the same way you do in 5e, but Pathfinder has more options for combining them. Are you seeing the pattern yet? The only limit to how many skill points you can have in a single skill is your character level, and your total number of skill points to give everything. That means if you're level 15, you can put 15 points into any skill, plus your ability score modifier, plus more if you take a feat to increase it. I see your plus 20 skill check to hide with max bonuses, and I laugh with my plus 52 as you forget I ever existed in the first place! Are you seeing the pattern yet? Next up we have attacks, and this is where Pathfinder can get a little overcomplicated. But in the end it just means you aren't left wondering what you're supposed to roll for the bard kicking an ashtray into the vampire's eyes to blind it so the fighter can grapple it and throw it off the cliff, or what the vampire should use to defend against that. In Pathfinder there's a base attack bonus, that's basically like your proficiency bonus. This is added to your melee attack, ranged attack, and combat maneuver bonus. Melee and ranged attacks are self-explanatory. They go against an opponent's AC. If the opponent is surprised, they go against their flat-footed AC. If the attack doesn't have to get under the opponent's armor, just has to touch them, like say for a spell that electrifies someone, it goes against their touch AC. Combat Maneuver Bonus, or CMB, is for any grappling style of attack, and this goes against an opponent's Combat Maneuver Defense, or CMD. Spells are defended against just like in 5e with Will, Fortitude, and Reflex saves against a DC of 10 plus your caster level plus your spellcasting ability score bonus. Some opponents have Spell Resistance, which is like a special AC just for magic, and applies against any spells. When rolling against this, you just add your caster level. So in the previous example, it would be a ranged attack from the bard to kick the ashtray at the vampire, going against the vampire's touch AC. It would probably get a fortitude save not to be blinded. Then the fighter would make a combat maneuver roll against the vampire's combat maneuver defense to grab him and throw him off the cliff. And now, I've saved the best for last. In Pathfinder, magic items have prices. Actual listed prices. Not just a rarity chart. Oh, look at it. It's beautiful. I don't have to try to guess how powerful it might be to put an arbitrary price tag on it that I have to try to remember some session in the future. That's pretty much the gist of the differences. The rest is case-by-case rules that are specific to races, classes, or feats. There's a lot more I could go into, like special materials, custom spell creation, kingdom building, hero points, wounds, fame and reputation, rituals, mythic levels. You don't really need to worry about any of that starting out unless you really want to go off the deep end. At the end of the day, if D&D is all about fantasy, Pathfinder is all about power fantasy. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go play my dragon that can scare people literally to death with intimidation checks while leading a small army of paladins imbued with a portion of his power like a minor god. None of this is homebrew.